Let's break this down. There's one thing we need to look at, and what I want to do is kind of break it down and let's test some trade theories out, right? So this trade theory that we're going to run here is what I want everyone to see. If you go into the Discord, you see a little area here, and on the Discord, you're going to see an area that I put here called trend info, right? We have RSIs down here, 15, 1 hour, 4 hour, etc. But the trends are the most powerful things, right? So we're going to focus on the 2 hour trend, right? And this is where we're going to dig in, looking for the 2 hour trend. The reason why is because what we're going to be looking for is basically a top trade, right? And we're going to test the top trade, and when we test it, we're going to basically take a look at the numbers. So what we see here is top trade, 2 hour green trend, enter on 5-minute green trend with positive volume, close on a red moon. Now, what does that mean? Well, we're going to test this out to see what the highest percents are. This is just one particular trade. And what I'm trying to do here is just kind of like break it down to where we're not looking at 1,000 different trades. Let's just look at one and let's find trades that work for us, right? So let me go here and let's focus on this trade here, right? So what does that mean? Let's pull up a coin here. How about APTO, Aptos, USDT? And don't forget to put the .p, right? .p. The reason why we're putting the .p in there is so that it might not have it. All right, here we go. Let's see what it actually has here. Actually, you know what? Let's just trade. Do we have an example? Let me take a look. Let's see if we have an example here. I'll leave this one here. What would be an example? Okay, here's an example trades, right? Go into the examples. What do we have? All this information. What was the last one that we posted here? All right, this trade right here. So what was this here? APT, USDT. We had the 2 hour trend turn green. We went to the 5-minute. As soon as the 5-minute went green with positive volume, we entered the trade. And that trade gave us, at that entry point way up here, that trade was able to get us around 3%, 3.75, almost 4%, but we would have closed a little bit below that with our trailing stop loss about 10% behind. So maybe you get 3.5, maybe you get 320, but you get at least 3% on this trade, right? So that's where we want to focus these particular trades at. So let's go test this theory a little bit here, and let's go over to, let's say, here's Casper. We've been dealing with Casper for a little bit all week. Let's take a look here and see if this particular style of trade would have actually got us some good licks here, or good wins. So let's go to the 2 hour here. Let's go find this 2 hour trend, right? Here we go. So here's a 2 hour trend that hit right here, right? And we got another one that hit right here. So let's start with, I don't know. Let's take this baby one here. Let's take this downside one. This kind of looks kind of weak here. All right, now how do we track a trend? We just go here, and what we're going to do is drop a line right between there, and all I'm doing here is just marking the territory for the 2 hour session, right? This is the trend. This is where it hit, right? And I'm going to turn this yellow, which makes it easy to find on the board, and maybe I make it a little bit thicker. Okay, so now we see a 2 hour trend hit there. Now, what's the rule? We go to the 5-minute as soon as we see a 2 hour trend. And then on the 5-minute, now keep in mind the 2 hour candles have a lot of 5 minutes in it. So we got to keep moving along here until we find that particular yellow. Oh, there it is. Okay. So here's that 2 hour trend, right? It turned green right here. So now what we have to do is go find it here, and then our job is to enter this trade on a 5-minute as soon as we see a green trend with positive volume. Now when we get here, notice how that we already have this going here, right? So if we get here and we see that we see the 2-hour trend turn right here. And we go and we like, as soon as we go to the 5 minutes, because we're waiting for a green moon, positive volume, green trend, we get here and we see that it already's happened. So we jump in, let's say that we jump in and we get at the top of this candle. We don't even wait for the pullback. We get at the top of that candle. Let's see how we would have done on this particular trade. And to do that, we slide over here, go to long position. And let's say we got in at the worst possible trade. We'll go to the top of this candle here. And let's see if we could how we did on this particular trade. That's really what I want to see, is like, even if everything goes completely bad, how do we do? Right? So this is a trade above this candle. We probably would have got in down here. So I'm going above because I don't want like the greatest scenarios. I want the worst scenarios, right? So worst case scenario, what are we always looking for? We are looking for a 1% movement with a 50x leverage, right? We're playing 30 to 50x, right? You shouldn't be doing anything less than 50. When you first start off, you should be doing, I mean, honestly, you know, I always say start with 30% leverage, but you know, the key is 50% leverage, right? The difference is you shouldn't be using a lot of money. You shouldn't be trading with $100. You should start off with $5. And until you can turn $5 into 100, you shouldn't trade with $100, right? You should start with $5 and build that $5 up to 1,000. That's what you need to do before you ever even think about bringing anything more than a $5 wager, right? That way, if you have $100, you can lose your $5 20 times, right? And in that 20 times, I promise you, if you listen to this system and you follow my videos and you pay attention to what I'm telling you, you will eventually break the code and become a disciplined trader. And then once you get $5 to 1,000 and you start trading $1,000, that $1,000 is going to become 50,000 before you even know it, 25,000 before you even know it, right? So that's the new rule. You cannot trade more than $5 until you turn $5 into 100. Once you turn it into 100, you can then trade with $10, right? You can't trade more than $10 until you turn $10 into 100, right? And then once you've done that, you can trade with $20. You can't trade with anything more until $20 becomes, you make an extra 100 in profit. Then you can go up to 50. And when 50 becomes 100, then you can go to 100. And then when 100 becomes 1,000, then you can trade with 200. And when 200 becomes 1,000, at that point, you can now trade with 500. And when 500 becomes 1,000, you can then trade with 1,000. That's the rule. That's the rule that we're implementing. So make sure you write that shit down. Follow that fucking rule. Do not break that rule. Okay? So far, positive volume, trend hits, we get our 1% at least, right? So remember, the goal is to get 30% profits. The only thing we want. If we're trading 50x and we're in at this level, if 50x goes up to 0.5%, that's our 25% profit. That's exactly what we want. So we hit that no problem. It's moving up right there. 30% would have been here. You move your stop loss to the 30% mark. It starts to push, right? And this is kind of where, you know, the benefit of this is that a lot of times you're not closing this trade until there's a red moon, right? That's kind of like the little rule of thumb that we were looking at. And we could probably get to the point here where, you know, maybe we just stay in this trade until the red trend happens, right? Maybe that's a better close, right? Because here's a red moon, but it keeps going. And this is something we're going to watch, because maybe we'll change this particular trade and say, you know what, hold this trade until the red trend, which means you would have sold somewhere in here, right? But if you were holding that trend and you were actually riding this wave, when you got to this level here, 2%, remember, once you hit 30% gains, you're trailing it right? You're putting your stop loss at 30% gains and you're allowing it to run and pull back. And then when there's a giant run like this is where you would move your stop loss up, right? You would move your stop loss up. So you probably trigger out around here, around this mark here, right? Which basically at the end of the day still comes down to your maybe 1.5% in here. So that's why no matter how you're running it, it's odds. If the pullback's less, you make more. But if it does trigger, no matter what, I mean, this trade was good for 1%. I mean, worst case scenario, 0.5%, and we still hit our 25% goal. So to me, this trade is winning. Okay, so let's go trade another 2 hour, right? Let's try again. And keep in mind, I'm doing this particular trade on a downhill, meaning that this is when the market was actually, going bad. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted to see if this trade could bring out a win, even though the market was crashing. Like, see, that was a consolidation. That was actually in the middle of a sideways move that we were able to make that 1%, right? That's the worst case scenario. I don't like testing my trades or my theories based on, the best case scenarios. I like shit that to be like the worst case. I want my stuff to be like when you're in the trenches, you're coming out. Like I want my trades to be, my theories and what I do to be the toughest, right? I don't trade, I don't test shit on the easiest circumstances. I test it on the worst. This is the worst scenario. Boom, coming down. Look at that. Boom and boom, right? That's in the middle of a double fall. It don't get no worse than that. Look at this fall, double fall right there, right? Now, the other scenario that we can look at is shorting, right? Shorting as well, right? So when you go here, let's take a look at the short position here, right? Here's a short position. All right, now let's take a look to see what the short position looks like. Let's go back to the 5 minute. It's going to take a minute to go back all them hours. All right, boom, here we go, right? So in this scenario, what do we got? And I'm going to make sure I write this down because we're watching this. All right, here's the scenario where the 2 hour goes red. We slide over to our 5 minute and we say, okay, what's happening on our 5 minute? It's completely green. It's still running. What do? Do we wait for the 5 minute to go red? We enter at that position and then we hold that position until the 5 minute goes green. We sell. We re-enter on the red. We ride that down because the 2 hour is still, right? And I'm going to move this line here to where the 5 minute goes green here. And the reason why I'm moving it there is because I want to see what the 2 hour is doing. So we hold this until it goes green again, right? Till it goes green again, and then we reevaluate, right? Now let's take a look here. And let's just take a look at the profits here that we would have made just on the second fall, right? Let's say we get in on this second fall here. Strangers in the night, exchanging glances, trades that I do like. Money and cashes. Yes, I like it. I like a lot. So there's a 4% trade right there, right? Now let's go over here and see what we would have done on this original trade. This original trade gave us a nice little push here. And this was a nice little peak that we would have saw. So we'd probably been around the 2% mark here. So 2%, 4%, not bad earnings. So maybe that's the scenario. So that's how you run a short on what the theory that we're using right now, the trade that we're using right now. Now, and this is holding the trend, right? This is holding the trend. I think that's the way to go, is to rock with the trend and then just kind of like go with it. Now this is where it changes here. So let's go here and take a look at the 2 hour. And what I want to see here is what the 2 hour is doing at that time. Okay, so particularly right here, the 2 hour is still red. It's still red. The 2 hour is still red. It continues all the way down, right? So let's mark this out. I want to re-look at this particular trade. So there's the original 2 hour. Now I'm going to go where the 2 hour changes, right? I'm going to put a second one here because I'm going to test the theory on both sides, right? So there's a second one right there. So we already know that this right here is where we made our percentages. So it was a nice little move. We see we're already there. So here I want to go back to the 5 minute. I want to see what's happening into that time zone of the 2 hour trend. So here we go. So here we can see in the 5 minute world, we had a nice little drop. It pulled back. We had another nice little drop. It pulled back, a nice drop, a nice drop, a nice drop, a nice drop. And then we started to slowly fade away, right? Now, I want to see how many times we could have made some really big cash here. I mean, we would have made some serious little bit of cash here riding this red shorts if we would have played these red shorts. I mean, look at these red shorts, one after another, waiting for the green to end, riding it back. I mean, honestly, look at these 5 minute. How much is this push back up? There's so many trades within trades, but I'm not even going after these other trades that I'm sure we're going to be able to pick out here. I mean, it's a 3% jump. Oh my God. I don't even want to worry about those trades right now. I want to focus on this one theory so that we can just kind of get a focus on a playground, and then we can go back and examine how to take advantage of these particular moves that are happening inside of this 2 hour theory, right? So just on that theory alone, we go from there. Now, let's go back to where we see the 2 hour change, which is right here. This is where we got in a bad position. We still made our percent. We still made our move. And once again, if we're playing this, it goes red, it goes green. We would have hit this again if we were playing this little window here. Here's another 1% move here. See that right there? And that's within the 5 minutes. That's just playing the 5 minute windows here. Now we can go back and we can look to see how to improve these percentages here. You know, this is just off this trend, which probably gets you in about here, which, you know, does give you a little spike here to about 0.5%. That's where you want to be key, because no matter what, we're getting our 0.5%. So, but we're going to go back and evaluate this. This is not a trade that we would be doing on this particular theory. Remember, we're only doing the trades that hit right when the 2 hour makes a change, right? Not the inner trading, right? That's a whole nother video of inner trading. Right now, we're just going to focus on the 2 hours, right? So far, the 2 hour scenario is playing out pretty well for what I can see. And let's continue on as we move through this moment here. All right, so let's go back here. There's a moment. There's this 2 hour. Look how good that short was. Definitely a great short. Let's move this over here. Obviously, you can see as soon as that turned right there, huge gains as always, right? Once again, let's rotate here and we're going to go to here, right? So green into red. Let's find our 5 minutes, because what do we do when as soon as the trend turns red or green? We go to the 5 minute VC. That's right. Pay attention, guys. Pay attention. All right, so what do we see? What do we see? What do we see here, boys? All right, here we go. We jump in. What happens? What's the rule of thumb? Let's go through our rules, right? What has to happen as soon as the 2 hour turns green? Right here. What are we looking for, guys? What are we looking for? We are looking for a green trend, a 5 minute green trend, right? Positive volume. It hits right here, which means we would get in somewhere in here, right? Now, this is where I'm always the big fan of doing what we normally do. What do we normally do? We let the RSI bottom out, which it does, right? In this zone here. And that would be, that's an entry right here, right? So let's see what this would be here. I wanna also measure. This is an interesting period here, and this is why we study these trades, to see where we are, just to see how to make them even more, perfect, right? Right now, I'm just breaking this down with the what we call the bones, the skin and bones of the trades, right? Not even getting into this extra little movement, right? This extra is what? Look at this. What do I always tell you guys, my favorite trade is what? A moon reset. That's when the moon turns a color, the trend turns the same color. The moon changes colors while the trend stays the same. And the moment the other moon changes back to the right color of the trend, you see an explosion. Look at this. Boom. That is my favorite trade. That's the trade I talk about all the time. It's the only trade you guys should actually be looking to get into. Now the bonus is you should be looking for those trades that are also moving in the direction when there was a 2-hour trend change, right? So within a 2-hour trend change, right? So this right here in a 2-hour trend change, you have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So in this, you had an hour and 45. So literally almost 1 2-hour candle later is when you got your moon change, right? So within a candle space of a 2-hour window, we got a moon reset that just exploded, right? This is something we want to put in our notebook and say, okay, maybe being patient, maybe waiting for the ultimate spot is the greatest thing that we can do, right? Because that's what VC talks. Be greedy. Wait for the best position. Say, all right, look, this is already pumping. This is already pumped, right? Here's the 2-hour trend change. I'm waiting. I see right here my RSI is at the top. What does VC always say as soon as I get here? It's at the top. Doesn't look like the greatest moment. What should I do? Let the 5-minute rewind, right? Let it rewind. It comes down. Let's take a look at the 15-minute here. Let's see if all the stuff that we actually learn is being applied in this one scenario. Let's just take a look and see if this is something we can look at and actually have the scenarios that we talk about play out here. All right. What do we have here? All right. Here's our trigger point right here. Our RSI is Let's spread it out a little bit. Our RSI is almost topping here. It's pretty much by the 80 line, above the 70 line, right? I always put a 70 line. I always talk about the 70 line, right? The 70 line is you draw a horizontal. When it's above the 70 on the 15, I like to see a reset. Like I love to see it play out, do something, reject, and then as soon as it bounces from that spot, that's where I would be looking to enter. So right now, that looks like that enter point would probably be in this scenario somewhere around here. All right, we'll make that red. So that's kind of where the way we anticipate this particular move to normally play out, right? Because we have positive volume, and this is why if you're looking at the other trades, what are we always looking for? Right? We're probably going to be in this trade a lot different because here we have our green moon, we have a green trend, we have positive volume right here. So in reality, we should have been in this trade on this candle, right? Green moon, green trend, positive volume right here, positive volume. This is where we should enter this trade, right? And we would have already made our money. We would have already made our money. But basing on this, just going off the 2-hour trade, let's stay focused on that because right now we're learning this one trade, this one particular trade. Let's see how it works here. So in theory, the 2-hour changed right here, right? Which is okay. We are in green. The RSI is kind of to the 70. The question is, do we sit here and allow this to push back, or do we enter where we're supposed to enter, right? Let's go take a look. Let's jump back to the 5 minutes. Let's see how we did. Let's just take a look here and crunch the numbers. Let's crunch the numbers. Do 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 do. All right, here we go. Crunching some numbers here. All right, let's see where we're at here. There we go. We come in here. The 2 hour changes. We see it. There's our moon. We look at our RSI. It's oversold. We say to ourselves, VC always says, let it pull back, at least one time pull back. The pullback comes in. That pullback comes in right here, comes all the way down. And then this is where we're looking for an entry. Now let's say we enter here. Let's say we don't wait for a pullback, right? Let's see how we would have done. Let's crunch the numbers and let me show you like the basics of this. So we get here, we have a 2 hour RSI. As soon as it triggers, we see this candle here. Let's say that it pulls back, we get into a bad position. Let's say we get in there, right? Let's go worst case scenario. Let's see, because a lot of these trades, we're gonna lose 8 out of 10 trades, but I wanna see how we do here. All right, so in this particular scenario, we're hitting about 35%, right? We're less than our 0.5%, right? And then we're coming down. This is a loss here because our stop loss is on our entry point right here, a little bit below. So we would have got stopped out in this particular position, right? So what can we learn from this particular position to better open our chances of winning, right? The scenario, the RSI is oversold. You have to let it play down. And at this moment here, right, this yellow here, let's take a look at the 15. What is the 15-minute RSI doing at that particular moment? Right, remember, we always let the RSI play itself out. Now we go here, look at the 2 hour. The 2 hour RSI shows that the 15-minute is above the 70 line. So what do? We allow the 15-minute to also bounce down, which means our entry should be off of this point right there. So that's what we can do here to better our odds and our percentages. We must allow the 5-minute RSI to reset. And by the time the 5-minute RSI resets, if the 15-minute is above the 70 or 80 line, we simply allow the 15-minute to reset as well. And then we enter. That's how simple this could be, right? So let's see how that works. And what I mean by that is we allow the 5-minute to reset. So let's let the 5-minute reset. Do, 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 do. All right, here's the scenario. Let's clean this out. Here we go. 5-minute RSI has to reset. When does it reset? It resets right here. Right? This is where the 5-minute starts to come up. Right? As soon as the 5-minute resets, which is this line here, we need to go see what the 15-minute is at, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? The 5-minute resets, right? So remember, the 5-minute resets and starts to head up, right? Now, we always like to see the 5-minute get above what's called the 20 line, right? I like it above the 30, and I'll show you what I mean here real quick. Let's just put all these rules in here. Let's build this trade out to exactly everything that it needs to be, and let's build some rules in here that we just use no matter what. All right, here's the 5-minute. It bottoms out here. It goes along. It doesn't start to move, right? Let me show you what a 30 line is, right? All right, so on your RSI here, this is the bottom line, right? This is where your coin bottoms out, right? That's your -77. This abbreviated line here, that's the 20 mark. You see that 20 right here on the line? 20. That's your 20 line right there. Boom, right? On the top, that's your 80 line. That's your 80. The middle one is your 50 line. I like having a 70, a 60, and a 30. Those are the lines I like. I like 60, 30, 70, right? So now let's see where, when the 5 minute actually bounces up, where is the 15? The 15 has now bottomed out. So what's the rule here, right? We need to wait for the 15 to actually start its way up. So that would be here, right? Now the 15 is above the bottom and it's breaking the 20 line right there. See how it broke the 20 line? It breaks the 30 line right here. So I want to basically make note of that. And that's what I'm going to do right here. That is where it breaks up. This is where it breaks the 30 line. Okay, this is where it breaks the 30 line, like right in there. That is where it breaks the 30 line, right there. That breaks the 30 line. That's what I want to see out the 15. Now, that's the 30 line. This is when it breaks up, right? I'm going to put this second line. All right, now let's, oh, my bad. I'm on the 5 minute. Even better, even better, even better. Okay, I thought it was on the 15. All right, so let's dig in here. This is even better. Let's dig in here. I don't need those two lines. So what I need here is the 5 minute pulls back. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom, right? Which I don't like. I always like it to go to the bottom and then reset, retouch, right? So here, doesn't go to the bottom, it pushes up. Doesn't go to the bottom, it pushes up. This is where it gets interesting because I want it to go to the bottom, right? So that is what I'm looking for. This is where the 5 minute actually bottoms out. And I'm going to make that line blue, okay? This is where it touches the bottom. And now the entry would be when it breaks the 30, right? Which would be right here. This is what I'm talking about. When the 5 minute breaks the 30, that's where it would be, right there. Totally bottomed out, breaks the 30 line right there, breaking the 30, and that is where we should enter. Okay, those are the rules. That's the rule. We're writing these down. These are what we did. Now let's test this rule. Right, let's test this rule, right? Let me delete that. Let's go to the 15 minute and see where the 15 minute is during this particular critical moments of this particular trade, right? So let's slide down here. We're looking for the two blue lines. Here we go. We got blue line, blue line, blue line, blue line. Okay. And here's our two blue lines. What do our blue lines show? This right here is when the 5 minutes started to bend up, right? We would go here and we would look at our 15 minute. And this is how you coordinate. This is the system. The 5 minutes starts to bend up. You then go to the 15 minute. You look at the 15 minute RSI and what is it doing? It is going down, which means we cannot enter this trade until it goes up. So now we watch it. It bends right there and look at that. That is where the 5 minute broke the 30. So what is that? This is our entry. This is our entry. So now that we got the rules in place, we follow the rules. Write the rules down. Get yourself a book. Write this shit down, man. Right? Now we go here and this is our entry. That's our candle. That's our entry. Boom. Now let's see how we did by following these basic rules of the game that we're going to apply to all of our trades. We slide over here. We see that that's the trade. We get in on the bottom of this next candle, which is right there. And let's bring this down and easily clear 2.5% on this trade. Just like that. Now let's say we're not getting out of this trade until we see the 5 minute trend change. Right? Boom. 5 minute trend change. Let's go see if we made any money. Let's see how we did, boys. Let's see if the system is paying off. Do 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 do. What was that? What was that? George, George, George of the jungle, watch out for that tree. Watch out for that tree. Okay, so here we go. 2% goes up. What are we doing? We're keeping our stop loss, what, 10%, 20% behind. We already hit 1%, right? We got our 1% right in here. Here's our 2%. We start to move. Now, once this move gets up into this level, 2.5, we're moving our stop loss from our 1%, right? Let's take a look at our 1%. Our 1% was down here, right? So we stay 1% behind. We move our stop loss to the 1%. That means we're 50x. No matter what happens, we're 50x. The moment we hit 2, right? The moment we hit 2, which is right here, right? That's where we move our stop loss, right? So here, where we got in down here, this is our entry. When it got to 1%, right, which is right here, right? Once it got to 1%, what do? We move our stop loss to the 0.5% mark. Why the 0.5%? Because we're doing a 50x. Remember, 50x. 50x at a 0.5% is what? 25% gains. That's exactly what we want, right? So now, as this continues to make its move, it jumps up. We get to a 2% move right here, right? That's where we move our stop loss up to the 1% mark, right? Because we hit a 2%. Then as it continues on, right, we get to 2.5%. We now move our stop loss to 1.5% because we're staying within a 1% move. The moment you see this jump up and you're seeing your profits go 50, remember you're doing a 50x. So if you see a 50% gain, right, that means you're at 1%, right? If you see 100% gain, that means you're at 2%, and you need to move your stop loss to the 1% mark where that price was. So when you're seeing your profits move and you see your profits say that you're up 50% on a 50x margin or leverage, and you look it down and you say, oh, at $1.3782, that is 50% gains, right? As it moves up and it says 100% gains or 75% gains, you move your stop loss to the 132.22, which was the 50% gains. That means your 1% mark. Then when it hits the 100% mark, right, you're 1% behind. When it starts to move past that, you start moving your stop loss up with it as it continues to move, right? And if you happen to see 150% gains, then your stop loss should be at the 100% gains, right? 100% gains, because that's the 2% mark. And then you should start pushing in. And when you start seeing anything that's unusual down here, which would be, this scenario here, getting a red moon, right? You see this red moon, you see this volume starting to come down. That's when you start tightening up your stop loss right there to basically ensure that you're doing what you need to do. Because once you get to above 2% to 3%, how much more do you want? Your goal was 30. Tighten up your stop loss here, get 2.5% out of this trade, and walk away basically 2% on this. Let's say you just get 2%, right? At a 50x, right? That's 100% gains, right? We only wanted 30. We were only looking for a 0.5%. We have 2%. That is 3 times more than what we were looking for. So this one trade is basically equal to 3 trades. Okay? Patience, right? So this philosophy is working here. So let's go back to what we're doing. If the 5-minute RSI has to reset, when it does reset and it starts to bounce up, it has to pass the 30. And when it's passing the 30, the 15-minute RSI has to also be heading up. Period. And we don't enter until the 15-minute RSI is also heading up. That's just the way it is. So once again, we cleared this out. That's a winner. That's how the trades go. So these are the trades that we're going to practice. Go over this video twice, and then what I want you guys to do is when you see these 2-hour trends changing, right, on the 2-hour, when you see the 2-hour trends changing, you need to then go to the Discord and post what you're seeing. And we will go back on the trends right here. 2-hour trend, right here. And we will go in here, look at this. Matic 2-hour trend up. Matic 2-hour trend going down. I think he means RSI. Can you read that? Oh my God, guys. Okay, let me. Okay. You guys have no idea how hard it is to write with a mouse. Okay, so this will be in the video, my buddy Rich Man Now, and you'll understand. This is the trend here. This is the RSI. So when you post here that the Matic 2-hour trend is going up or going down, that's the RSI. Matic 2-hour trend up. The trend is still red. That's the RSI. You're looking at the wrong thing. Okay, so I'm gonna post this video, watch it, that's for you. And let's take a look here why you're talking about Matic, USDT dot P. Let's see if it has a dot P. It does has a futures. Let's go there and let's see where we're at right now. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Oh, bum, 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 bum. Oh. We have a green trend, guys. 2-hour green trend right here. What's the rules? What's the rules? Let's go through the rules. Let's go through the rules. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go to the rules. All right, but we're missing out right here, guys. We're missing out. Bada boom. We just missed this. Okay, let's map this out. First thing is green trend. Boom, marked. What do? We jump to the 5 minutes. Bang, 5 minutes. Let's go. We got to trade. We got to get in here, boys. We got to get in here. What do I see? What do I see? What do I see? I jump in here. What do I see? I see a green moon. I see positive volume. I see a trend. My RSI is too high. I see this. What does that mean? I got to wait for it to pull back. It pulls back. Now, what am I looking for? The moon reset, which hits right here. That's a moon reset. That is a trade we have to take inside of this. Look at this massive trade we're missing. Okay, moon to green trend, red moon to green moon with positive volume. This is a trade we have to take. That is a moon reset, right? That's a moon reset right there. And the RSI is halfway up. It's not above the 70, which is right here. See that right there? The moon reset. You're right there. You're not above it. You're not in the 80 zone. That's the moon reset. Let's see how much money you would have made by playing the moon reset. Because once you jump in the moon reset, you don't close until you get the red set. So let's see. Moon reset happened right here, which means you would have got somewhere in here. And let's see how this played out. The moon reset. Yeah. Nice little move here. Nice little 80 per 0.8. We only need 0.5. Remember, we're looking at 0.5, right? So that would have played out right there. But let's go back here and let's get to a situation where we play the rules that we have right there. So that actually played out. But now let's go back to where we are. Here's our 2-hour reset, right? We wait for the 5 minute to reset. Here it reset right here. Let's put a line here. Where's the third? It didn't hit the bottom, did it? It didn't hit the bottom. Hold on. Hold on, man. Hold on. Na, 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 na. All right, first of all, I need to hit my right. I need to go to settings. I need to go to appearance. I need navigation always invisible. always invisible. Okay, that's all there. Why? What is this? What is that there? Okay. Let's focus and see what we got here. Here's our 2 hour. Here's our RSI. We can't enter until our RSI resets. So let's go here and bottom out our RSI, which is right there. Okay, and it almost bottomed there. It bottomed here. See that? It didn't bottom here. It bottomed here. So now it bottomed here, right? And this is where it starts to go up, and this is where it breaks the 30, right? Remember the rule, it has to break the 30. This is where it breaks the 30. So what do we need to do there? We need to go to the 15 minute. 15 minute, 15 minute. Now the 15 minute has to be heading up in this trade. So now we go in here, we take a look. Here we go, 15 minute. What is the 15 minute doing? The 15 minute is already oversold, right? So we don't take this trade because the 15 minute is already oversold. Now, does this trade make money? Let's see if we just play the 5 minute without the 15 minute. Let's see here. You get in this trade here. Let's see how much you would have made. It's a 0.5, maybe 0.6. I mean, it is a winning trade. That's how beautiful these trades are. These trades are weak, yet they still win. All right, so now let's take a look here. The 15 minute fails to actually be low, so we cannot enter this trade. We stay out of this trade. We let the 15 minute reset. The 15 minute reset, it's coming across, and finally right here it starts to bounce. Here's our 15 minute right here. It resets, comes all the way across. This is where we hit the 30 line. This is where we should enter the trade. Right here. This is the entering of the trade right there. That's the entering. When the 15 minute bottoms out, green moon, we start to move up. Now let's go look at the 5 minute. How did that play out for the 5 minute? Boom. 5 minute. There. The 15 minutes heading up. This is our trade. 5 minute RSI bottomed out. It starts to bend up. It breaks the 30. Where does it break the 30? It breaks the 30 right there. So where are we entering? Right here on this trade on the green moon. So let's see if we would have made money by following the rules that we just put together live with me and you and I together. All right, here we go. Boom. Here's our 15 minute bounce. We go the 5 minute. It is also bouncing. It broke the 30 right here. This is the trade. Let's say you get in the last one. You get in here. Okay. Let's see how you would have done. This candle here, 0.75, it pulls back. Now remember, we're selling on the red trend. Not bad, not bad. You get our 1%. We get our 0.76, also 0.9, so we're doing really well here. This is a 0.8. We'd be at our 0.5% line in here, moving our line. So no matter what, this hit our 25%. So we would have made money here. So we hit our trade, which would have been a 0.5%, which would have been that 25% trade that we wanted. So no matter what, we would have hit that, because once we pass the 0.5% and we get to 0.75, this is where you would put your stop loss at your 0.5%. It would have triggered right here, right, getting us out of this trade, which is okay. Then as you follow back, and you have another moment here, right? Let's see if these moments pay off. 5 minute, here's a moon. It's not a moon reset. Moon, green trend, moon, red trend, green moon, green trend, right? Pulls up a little, pulls back. This right here is the 5 minute is, I don't like taking any secondary trade. So honestly, this would have been our first trade, 25%. That's just the way it was going to be, and that's where we would stay in that position, okay? Until then, we would stay out. Let's see where we're at as far as everything goes. Let's go back to the 2 hour. Because once the trade finishes, there's no other trade to get in. All right, so now we're going back to our 2 hour. So far right now, this has all happened in our 2 hour session. We are now out of the 2 hour scenario, right? And here is a great little moment in time that we can look at and kind of like see that once that trend hits, the RSI was at the top, right? So is it better here? But here we go again. Maybe we're writing another bonus here, right? Maybe when we get a 2-hour trend, maybe another rule that we should write is that we do not enter until the 2 hours starts to go up on the RSI. What do you think? Right? You see how you have to start implementing all the stuff I've already told you about RSIs, relative strength indexes, when to be patient. Right now, do these trades work? Yeah, we're getting our 0.5%. We're winning, right? But they're not like secure wins, right? They're not those wins that we can look at and be like, man, that was a really good win, right? That's what I'm trying to teach you guys. So let's say now that we got this whole formula kind of set up, let's go and say, okay, 2-hour trend changes, RSI has to be reset. So let's rethink this, right? So now we go down here. Here's the bounce, and it breaks the 20 line, right here. So this is where it breaks the 20 and the 30 line, right in the zone here. This is the trade. This is the trade that we actually should be getting into. This trade right here. This is the trade. What does this trade go for? You get in on this candle, on that trade. Easy pickings, easy 2% gains right there. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. The nice little 2%ers, right? Now, let's go look at this and analyze this particular trade based on the 5 minute, right? So here you go. Here's the trade. The RSI bounces. Now let's go take a look at the 5 minute. Here we go. Boom. You take a look. Here's the RSI bounce. The 5 minute RSI bounces, right? Need to go look at the 15 minute. Take a look at the 15 minute. What do you see on the 15 minute? The 15 minute RSI also bounces here. So all these trades lead to this moment right there. This is the entry right on this candle right there. That's the entry right on that green candle right there. That's where we would be entering right there. Okay, so now that we got all this figured out, let's bounce here. That's our entry right there. So now let's see how much we would have made on this push. Long position, entry right there. Pushing up this entire time. 2%, nice gain, super nice gain. That's where we want to be. That's 100% gains. We're going to close that trade at 100% every time because we're not stupid, right? So there's your 5 minute push, 100% gains. You close out, call it a day, bada boom, bada bing, right? That is that simple, guys. That is that simple. Here's your entry right here, green moon. It goes along. You're watching it. Right, you bang, 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 and 2%, there's your move. All right, so now we got these simple rules, right? What are the rules? The 2-hour trend changes, the 2-hour RSI goes to the bottom and starts its way back up, and then we play with the 5-minute RSI bouncing all the way to the bottom, and the 15-minute has to also bounce and head up. Those are the rules. And that's giving us 2% gains. That's simple, guys. That's the rules, right? And that's the way we should play this. Now, the 5-minute red trend comes down, hits, pushes right here, but look at the RSI on the 5-minute. RSI is too top. So even though this trend goes green, what do? You wait because you're patient. You wait. Even though it's green again, you say, the RSI is oversold. I can't do that because VC will yell at me. But what do you have? Green moon, green trend. Red moon, green trend, right? Becomes red trend, pulls down, green moon, right? Here we go. Let's look at this. Green moon, RSI bounces to the bottom, comes across, starts up. Here's your RSI, green trend, RSI halfway up. How's that look? Does that look like a good trade? Let's take a look. Here, green moon, RSI moving up, right? Positive volume right here. Slide to the positive volume. Green trend, positive volume, RSI is at the top. Let's take a look at the 15. Let's see how this plays out. RSI came down here and is bouncing up. Now, here's further education for you. The 15-minute RSI is a stronger push, right? A lot of times the lower RSIs can go what we call across the ceiling or across the top, right? It can run across the top for 4, 5, even 6, 7 candles, right? 4, 5, 6, 7 candles, right? If the 15-minute RSI has already pushed the top, came down and bounced and started its way up right here, and at this moment the 5-minute RSI is oversold, but the 15-minute just crossed and it is below the 70 line. Here's your 70 line. Remember the 70 line here, right? Let me make that green or something. There you go. It's below the 70 line, which it is. Then you would enter the trade based on the 15-minute RSI having continuous push. Plus, you have a green moon, green trend, right? And this is only on the 15 minute. Green moon, green trend, red moon, green trend, green moon, green trend, red moon, green trend. What is this? This is the moon reset on the 15-minute. What do I guys tell you all the time? Trade the moon resets on the 15-minute. What did this just do? Moon, green, red, reset, green, green, reset, enter. What do you get for this? What do you get for this entry? All right, for playing this entry correctly, what do you get? Another 2% move. Not only that, you could still be in this move because your stop loss should be at 1% here, and you still are pushing this move here as you go across. That's where you're at. Now, that's how we play this. Okay, that's how we play this. These are the rules. This is how we play. That is the bottom line. This is how you do these 2-hour trades. Don't do any other trades. We're going to focus on 2-hour trend changes, right? Going in off the 5-minute with the rules that we have. Now here's our 2-hour bouncing down here, right? Or our 15-minute. Bouncing right here. That's starting to happen. So now let's take a look at everything. What's the 2-hour doing? 2-hour. Oversold, right? So what do we want to do here? Right? Take a look at the 3-hour to see where the 3-hour is. Is the 3-hour oversold? It's just starting to peak. So this is telling you that the 3-hour has a little bit of room to give you here. So it's probably going to be, Matic's going to continue to push up here, but it's not going to be for the super long time because look, the 4-hour is already going flat right there. It's oversold. The 3-hour has a little bit to give you, which, you know, it's a 3-hour candle. That a little is a lot when it comes to 3 hours. But the 2-hour is going sideways. So right here, you're at a very tough juncture. And if you look at the 2-hour and you take a look at all these candles, you can take a look here and see that there happens to be a really, really strong rejection line right at this mark here of 115, which means more than likely it's going to be hard to get to this 115. We're probably going to get to the 115 area, but we're probably going to reject and then head back down as soon as this 2-hour. Now, the one thing that I always watch when I'm watching trends, right? When you watch a trend and a trend goes sideways, right? Because the trend has buying power in it, right? When the trend, the price action isn't pushing up, it's a weak move. Look at this weak move here. This is a move that is going to turn red and go into a short position because it's going flat. It didn't even push up. Look what happens when the green trend goes sideways, right? And it doesn't push up until that moment it starts to move up right there. Positive volume, it starts to push up. What do we have over here? We don't have positive volume. So right here, you cannot go long on this next move, right? You cannot go long until you see positive volume. But this RSI is already oversold. Let's go back to this other scenario where it pumped. Let's see the difference. The difference here on this pump is it went flat. The RSI is oversold, right? You see that? It can be oversold, but positive volume popped in right here, and we had a big move, right? And it went from 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So this literally said that this 2 hour can be oversold by 8 hours, right? So that's the scenario. We could be sitting in this scenario right now. The difference is you cannot jump on this trade until you see this positive volume, which it looks like it's starting to actually build. See that? We just don't have, there's a little beacon of hope there. Little beacon. All right, let's go to the, now that we know that we have the possibility, let's go to the 1 hour to see where we're at. The 1 hour is going flat here, right? It might be breaking up here. This might be nice. What do we have here? Green moon, green trend. We're looking good. This looks like we're going to pump here. This looks like it's 80% chance to the upside here. Go to the 15-minute. What we have with this bottom RSI, we're going to pump here for sure. Look at this. Here's our 15-minute RSI pushing up. This has until this line here. Notice there's a 20 line. I call it, it's like the 19 line, which is like right here. That is probably where it's going to reject and then come down. So this looks like Matic is going to have a move up here. So let's take a look here. Let's get into Matic here. Let me see here. Matic, bada boom, bada bing. What's the price on Matic? Change this to 8. We're going long. I'm going to do 100% of that. We're going to open this up. Let's go. Okay, we're going to run. Is that? Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Why are you shorting me, bro? Why are you shorting me? Why you do me like that? Why you do me like that, man? Don't you know? Don't you know I want to be all in on this? All right, so we're going to slide in here on an all-in move here. Now, we should have actually been on this all-in move with everything doing on this bounce here, this 15-minute. So let's go to the 5-minute and see where we're at here. 5-minute has a little bit more room here to grow. But we're right at the top. We should see a small little slowdown. Is that the 100 line? That's the 500 line. Hold on. Let me bump this down. We want this line to be, there we go. There we go. So we got some room here. Plus we're positive volume here. We're looking good. And we just turned green again right there. See, that's what I'm saying. When that 15-minute bounce, that's our entry. I am already behind on my entry. I've lost this little spot here. And just to see how much you guys, you know, it's so key to be in the best spots. That little spot is almost a 0.20. I mean, you know, that's almost a 0.20, right? I mean, at the end of the day, when you're doing 100x or 50x, let's just say 50, let's say 100x. That's 25% gains that I lost, which is 12% gains on a 50x. We're only looking for 25% gains for the trade, right? So let's play this out. See what's going on here. Let's play this out here. So far, we're looking decent here. It looks like, you know, that is, now remember, we don't have that strong of a pump, you know, because the RSIs are all oversold right now. So we're in a very interesting position here. So my stop loss is going to be at the bottom of this candle here, which is 115.12. I'm currently at 15.40. So when I put my stop loss here, so I'm at 100x. So my liquidation price is $1.1469, and I'm gonna put in $1.15. My entry was 15.36, so I'm gonna go with 115. If I have any issues, that's where I'm gonna sell it all at 115. So here we go. But like I said, we should have been right here with, after all that information we looked at, right here when this RSI bounced right there on the 5-minute green moon and a trend. This is where we should have entered. We're behind on this because we're a little bit slow. So this is why you have to track a trade. track it like an animal. But this is where we want to be. This is, you see, this is like, this is what we were just talking about, guys. You see how it all comes together? See how easy that is? And just like that, guys, just like that, I'm up 35%. That's my win right there. That's my win right there, 35%. See how easy that was? 36%. Now that I hit my 30%, I'm at $1.1576, right? So what I do now is I change my stop loss, right? Doom, 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 doom. Where's my stop loss? Right, 38%. So now I hit my little edit on my stop loss. Now I'm going to bring this up to 68, 115.68. So no matter what happens here, I made my 25% gains. So I'm excited already. 42%. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to edit my stop loss again. I'm going to bring this to 15.72. Right, because that means I'm taking 30% gains there no matter what happens. So that's right there where I want to be. Let's see. Now remember, these gains are going to move, but remember this could run for the next 2 to 4 hours, maybe even 6 hours, right? But, this is all about analyzing the information in front of us and tracking the 2-hour trend trade like we've been doing, right? That's where we're at here. Boom, there's my stop loss. Just triggered. I walked away. I had $50 in that trade, made $17 in one trade. That's simple, guys. Now, could I have stayed in this trade and I said, okay, I can stay in this trade until the 3-minute trend goes red or a red moon? Yes, you can do that. That's not a problem. You can turn around and jump in that type of trade if you want to get in that trade. That is completely fine. So let's say we're in this trade, and let's say we're going to stay in this trade until we see the 1-minute trend go red, right? Let's go with an early warning signal here. See how I got out that trade? And right here, you're starting to fall already. Now, this 1 minute, if it bounces off here, it could be great. It could be great if it bounces off here. But I just like cashing. I just like taking my profit. This is why. As soon as I take my profit, it always seems to go the other direction. You know what I mean? It's just because it's, you push your stop up, you take your money. And now I sit back and I wait for what's called a moon reset, right? What's a moon reset, right? That's a green moon, green trend to a red moon with a green trend, back to a green moon to a green trend. And then I can think about re-entering, right? And what's that going to be? That's going to be taking a look at the 5-minute. Remember the 5-minute was oversold? Remember that? The 5-minute was oversold. So what do we know at that time was going to happen? We knew that eventually the 5-minute is going to have to reset, right? So that's kind of where we're at here. The 5-minute has to reset. Now we already scored here. We took advantage of that trade because the 15 minutes already running up. So that's where we're at. So now that we scored on this trade, we can let this 5-minute reset, and then we can come back to this trade, when it gets a little bit better scenario. But, like I said, all in all, if you stay in this trade, you go to the 1 minute, you can stay in this trade until the 1-minute trend goes red. Right? And you would be fine. Me, I'm just so disciplined as a trader. I just take my 30-some%. I don't push it, right? Because I know that, if I'm following particular trades, or if I'm trading like I'm supposed to, and I'm hunting these trades. Think about this, right? Let's say if I have, $2,000, right? And I'm doing 100x margin, and I just hit for 30%, right? What is that? That's $600 I just made today. $600. Do I really care if this goes up 1,200, 24? I don't really care. $600 a day? What do people make nowadays? What's the average? What's a paycheck nowadays? I mean, when I was a CEO, $400 a day was 4 to 7. I mean, we used to crank out $600-700 a day. That was kind of like our thing. So, and I was in marketing and sales, so that's a very high end job. You know what I'm saying? Like we would go out afterwards, drink, and our bill at the bar would be $100 to $200. So you know our $700 day, our $400 day, half of it went to booze and liquor, right? So at the end of the day, you know, I know people aren't making $400-500 a day. You know what I'm saying? I have high end careers, so I know right here this is a really big thing. I used to interview people about all their jobs and what they make. When you can crank out $600 in a day, whew, that's a heavy load of money. So that's why you can't carry. Look at this fall down here. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, why? Look at that. This moon has to reset. You see what I'm saying? As soon as the red moon hit, that's where I would get out. I would have got out on that red moon. But my stop loss already triggered. That's the thing. And the stop loss already triggered. The moon already triggered. All of this already got me out of this trade because I'm disciplined. You see? Most of the time, things don't go well if you go beyond what you're supposed to go beyond, right? What do we need here? We need the 5-minute RSI to reset. Everything's against you here on the 5-minute RSI. This has to reset in order to get into another trade. And the 15-minute has to be below what? The 70 line, okay? No, remember our rules, guys. Watch this video, go over it again, guys. This will help you out. These are the trades that we're going to be doing from now on until, I don't even know, until I find a better trade that always wins. This is the trade right here. All right, man. Good luck. God bless.